In all of what we do, we're curating something, we're pulling a narrative together. And at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and in my journey, when I reflect and look back at what my mom did and what I watched her do and how that's influenced what I'm doing now, it's all driven by passion. Passion will take you in so many places where you never even thought. I had never thought I would leave Los Angeles, California, where I was at, complacent, feeling fine, but I think the thing that propels all of us forward and what connects us, whether it's music, whether it's marketing, whether it's photography, whether it's you painting or doing whatever you do in your respective role, it's about not shying away from the responsibility, not being afraid to take a challenge, not being afraid to take a leap. And I think that's what's really important about the work that we all do to create actual change. Preservation is for everybody, and it happens in our lives more than you even think. Whether it's jewelry or necklaces from your grandmother that you preserve that shit. If it's a cereal box that your mom may have collected or kept some toys, protect it. Protect it, preserve it. There's a story behind it. That's you curating your own life. And I think that's what I really love to show in our exhibit. Curate your own life. Be inspired by what you see here, but your story matters. You're not a mistake. You're exhibiting something every single day that matters. Be inspired. Stay passionate. So that's what the Rock Hall means to me when I'm exhibiting. It's our connectedness.
Well, please welcome Nwaka Onwusa. Thank you so much for being here. Great to talk.
Thank you, and thank you all. Good morning, everybody, for just coming out, braving the snow. I know we've all kind of said that this morning and coming in, but my name is Nwaka Onwusa, and as Thomas said, I'm the Chief Curator and Vice President of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Which is a dream. I'm like still pinching myself. It dawned on me yesterday, like, oh wait, you've been in Cleveland now. You're going on your 4th year now here. So been here for 4 years and counting, and really enjoying my experience. I have to give a shout out to my amazing colleague who's here, Lisa V, who helped to make this all possible and connect the dots. So thank you so much for this. A little nervous. I do love and enjoy talking to people because my job definitely is talking to people through exhibits. And one of the words that Thomas gave me, and I still want to touch on it a little bit, is popular, which has still been swirling, but I wanted to talk about preservation in a way. So popular, preservation, kind of blend those things together. But I'll talk a little bit about my journey and why those words mean so much to me. Popular and preservation, the core of that. So my journey, definitely, I'm sure like many of you sitting in this room, completely unconventional to maybe where you are now. My journey was definitely unconventional. I didn't know what a curator was at the time, didn't know I could work in a museum, first for starters. You were looking at a young lady who was born and grown up in Compton, California. So I'm an Angelino, I'm from LA. Moved when the riots happened. Rodney King, and lived in the core of that. Terrible, terrible experience. But grew up with parents who were very entrepreneurial. We didn't really know what popular was. Definitely did a lot of things all the time, touched on music, touched on culture and different things like that, but never had the idea that I could be popular. What is popular? Never was in that crowd, and I think it's unique to be at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and celebrate some of the most prolific artists who are so anti-popular, so about the counterculture, and we celebrate them in this unique way through creating exhibitions. I think something so cool, I have to talk about my mom because I learned about exhibiting through her. My mom is a Renaissance woman. She did everything from nursing to owning her own flower shop. So that was my first job. I worked in a flower shop as a cashier and helped her chop and drop. So if anyone deals with flowers or knows about that, I mean, you chop them and you drop them in the vase. So that's chop and drop. But my mom would like create displays, and me and my sisters, we would tag along with her. to this cake shop, Mr. Howe's Cake Shop in Compton, and we would watch her dress these displays and tell these stories. And she would have different themes and colors and all of this, and I had no idea that essentially broken down would be a part of what the heck I do in exhibits. So breaking it down, and Thomas, you did a great job. Like, yes, creating exhibits, coming in, I mean, that's the bare bones of it, but what you're doing and what my job entails when I'm creating an exhibit, there's so much there. I feel like you're producing. In all of our roles, you're a producer. In all of what we do, we're curating something. We're pulling a narrative together. And at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and in my journey, when I reflect and look back at what my mom did and what I watched her do and how that's influenced what I'm doing now, it's all driven by passion. My mom would wake up 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 3 kids, and we're all like a year and a half or a year apart. So she's dragging her 3 kids to the flower mart, bringing bundles of flowers to this flower shop we could barely afford. We're a low middle income, family trying to do this and live a dream and make some money and still fulfill passion. And it was dedication, determination. It's not even about the popularity part. You don't even, I feel like that connection that we have as creators, as entrepreneurs, as artists, is that through line. And I have my phone up because one of the things I wanted to talk about was going against the grain. When you're looking at being popular, it's one of those things where you think it's connected, but it's that rejection of complacency. It's that rejection of traditionalism. And I think that's what's really important about the work that we all do to create actual change. My journey, I'm bopping all over the place, but I'm sure it's connected here, it's connected. So I had, like my mom, a list of ideas of what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a journalist, I wanted to be a news reporter, I wanted to be a lawyer. That was forced by my dad. I wanted to sing, and that was like, music was everything. Like, I wanted to sing, I wanted to do all these things. Getting into this career and following this path, I'm a sociology major, didn't major in museum studies, I didn't go to school to be an archivist, that was not the thing. The passion for me was music and understanding how it connected to people. And I think that's really what all of us are in here for, is how do we connect to people? How do we make a greater impact? How can my life be changed? I'm like, hell, if I have goosebumps, then I know that someone else is gonna have goosebumps because of what I'm feeling or what I'm experiencing at this moment. So it was that passion, sorry, these hard P's. It was that passion that really drove me to where I am right now. It's not, you hear the term, it's not what you know, it's who you know, it's not where you've been, it's how you get there kind of journey. And from sociology to, I'm telling you, I started in the box office working at the GRAMMY Museum in Los Angeles, California. This place had just opened up during another economic decline. And it's like, well, you know what? My passion for music, I'm like, look, I'm working for Ticketmaster, and I know how to look. And if any show you ever see is sold out, it's not really ever sold out. So there's always a hold somewhere. A K hold, a J hold, a L hold. You can make it whatever. So so I'm like, you know what? I just need to be in this Grammy Museum. I just, like, if nothing else, I'm gonna get like a good show out of this. Meanwhile, my passion, being driven by passion. Okay, I want to educate. I want to inspire. Okay, let me teach. Get into education. All of these things have helped make this melting pot of what really drives me. And I think the point is, even just being in your adulthood, trying to figure out what you want to do, what makes an impact, it doesn't matter where you start, how it begins, how it finishes, where you are in the middle. Like, I try not to ask those questions, and I hate sounding like a broken record, but truly, like, Tom Petty, free fall. I'm like, free fall into it. Free fall into your destiny, free fall into your passion, free fall into the love that you have for whatever it is. Mine was music. So I'm like, I'm just gonna work in this box office part-time, Sure, I have my bachelor's degree. Sure, I have all these other accolades and things that I want to do, but I'm going to do this because the music has driven me to this place. And this is something that I need to do. I don't care. I'm driving 60 miles one way. All of my part-time check is going to gas. And who cares? Because music is what I'm here for. Education is what I'm here for. I want to inspire the youth that I'm teaching at this elementary school, or this is what I want to do in this museum. I had no idea that creating exhibitions would, or doing this education work, working in the box office, working at my mom's flower shop, watching my mom display windows, all of those things have fed into where I am now and how I create displays that inspire people. And I think one thing that Thomas said that was so powerful is that the work that we're doing in our respective city is not just for Cleveland, it's not just for Neo, it's not just for here. We are making a global impact. It really pisses me off when I hear folks like the mistake on the lake. I'm like, we gotta come back with a better thing in Cleveland. We gotta come back with a better comeback, because what we're doing here is really inspiring the entire world. And that's what I love about being at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. One of the things is that this is a beacon, yes, for Northeast Ohio, but this is a beacon for the entire world. What you're doing cannot be diminished. And that was a reminder for myself. That's a reminder I tell my colleagues, my friends. Being here is not a mistake. You are not a mistake. Your journey is not a mistake. Those words, that ideology, that shit matters. Which is why I came to Ohio. People are like, you came from LA to Ohio? What the hell you doing, girl? Why would you do that? And I'm like, because it's dope here, and the mission. I'm being driven by passion. Passion will take you in so many places where you never even thought. I had never thought I would leave Los Angeles, California, where I was at, complacent, feeling fine, but I think the thing that propels all of us forward and what connects us, whether it's music, whether it's marketing, whether it's photography, whether it's you painting or doing whatever you do in your respective role, it's about not shying away from the responsibility, not being afraid to take a challenge, not being afraid to take a leap. I was nervous as hell to do this talk. I'm like, great talk. This is like a TED Talk. This is like a Cleveland TED Talk. This is so dope to share a perspective and inspire others, and I'm being inspired at the same time. So to create an exhibition, it's about passion. It's about inspiration. And I know I'm going to get emotional because it really is a spiritual thing. There's a quote from Fela Kuti, who is a Rock Hall nominee, again, on the ballot for a second time. So amazing. And he says, music, you don't fuck with music. Music is spiritual. And I was like, damn, that's deep. And excuse me for using profanity this early in the morning. Sorry, it's rock and roll. So he says, and it's a quote. It's a quote from Fela. So you don't F with music, and I really take that seriously. When I'm doing exhibitions, it can start from any sort of process, and it might be similar to where you are. It could be inspired by a song. It can be inspired by a conversation that you have in a taxi, in an Uber with somebody, meeting a stranger at a bar, meeting someone in a bathroom. I met a whole lady. I met a whole new friend in the bathroom, had no idea, in a completely different state, and we connected. We connected full circle. It's about the stories that connect us, and I think that's one of the things I love about how I started my journey. Unconventional. You never know how you're going to connect with people. As a sociologist, how are people interacting with the music? How are we receiving the music? How has the music inspired you? Are certain questions that I ask myself when I'm developing an exhibit. Like, why does this even matter? Why does this matter to me? Asking myself those questions. But it's like being moved. I feel like it is spiritual, being moved by the Spirit. Like, what is it that's gonna make change? Because like I said, it's not just here, local. What you're doing is making an impact. It's not a mistake. So putting an exhibit together, yes, there's a whole team, a whole squad. We have archivists, librarians at the Rock Hall. We have preparators, art curators, I have coordinators. I mean, it's a whole thing, a wheel that we have at the Rock Hall. A lean team, but still a squad that makes it happen. Right now we have this exhibit up. We're all celebrating NBA All-Star coming to Cleveland this weekend. Yeah. And so we put together this exhibit called Baseline to Baseline. I'm going to play on words, like baseline and then like baseline. And so Baseline to Baseline, celebrating music, celebrating 75 years of music in the NBA. And I'm using this example because it's current to where we are right now, but a small footprint of an exhibit. And that's where, to me, it's like, it doesn't matter the size or the quantity of what you're producing or what you're putting out, but it's the quality, it's the reach, it's the story that you're creating. And I think having a strong narrative, but that passion behind it, really makes the difference of how people are inspired by your work. I learned a lot of what I know on the job. And, you know, I got a lot of blowback from that on my journey, you know, from folks who had went to school for years and, you know, had their museum studies degree and like, well, you know, and I had this girl like fully in the most professional way, like just cuss me out and just like, you know, what the fuck, like, how did you get here? And I would say that bothered me for several years as far as like questioning my place, questioning your value, questioning how you get there. But I, despite this mouth, I am a person of faith and I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, my Savior. And I was just like, you know what? It's so beyond me. I'm like, what's for you is for you. What's in your lane, when you're in your lane and staying in your purpose, that is coming to you. Working in your passion, that is coming to you. Period. No one else can live your passion. No one else can live what you're exhibiting. No one else can live what you're learning, what you're going through. Your journey is your journey. And I feel like everyone, that's why perspective matters. That's why representation matters as far as the stories that we tell, how we tell them, where we tell them, and when we tell them. It matters. Using your voice to speak the hell up when it matters. That's what exhibiting is. I mean, exhibiting is not just the physical, you come in and see, and yes, you'll be reading my writing. I love that. I love that I get to control the narrative in the exhibits. So when you're coming in, it may be like, hey, you know, I've gotten notes, hate mail, people who don't like this narrative that we're telling, but standing up in your passion, what is right, I think is really what matters and what really keeps me going. I'm inspired by the Rock Hall because it's for the misfits. It's for the outlaws of this world. It's for those who are against or for the counterculture, for those who want to change up and create sonic discourse. And I think that's what the beauty is. It brings us all together. It's all the differences that bring us together as this collective whole. And that's what I feel like we're exhibiting when we're at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're showing these differences, but we're showing how we're closer than we actually really think we are. You may think this is one genre of music and find out that the foundation of this artist or this artist's family or the music that they're sharing is way more connected than you ever actually thought. Exhibiting is educating. I'm inspired by that. I'm like, I'm here for the learning. It's not that I'm in my position because, or any of us are in our position because we know every damn thing about this subject matter. We're here because we're open for the learning. I think that's the passion. Just because I'm the chief curator don't mean I'm the chief of everything. And I get that. Sometimes like this challenge where it's like, hey, well, what did you know about this? I'm like, I'm not here to rattle the facts. I'm here because of my passion. I'm here because of my drive. I am here because what I do know. I know I am here because I work my ass off, but it's because of passion. Not being popular, but passion. And that gets confused when we're in a space of talking about something that is so popular and glamorous, like rock and roll. When you think about the induction ceremony, or you think about like just some of the iconic musicians that we celebrated, and some of them have lived the most unpopular experiences or lives than we could know. And that's our mission at the Rock Hall, is to really tell that story, to humanize an artist, humanize a subject, and bring it closer and tangible and show you that you are connected to that narrative. Yes, I have something in common with Carole King. Wow. Or, yes, I have something in common with Prince. Oh, you know, these purple lights. Okay, this purple outfit. This is for Prince. So I think, you know, when you're on that path and on your journey, exhibiting, curating in your own way. At first, I used to get offended in the museum world, like, oh, you know, folks, we're now using curated more openly as a culture, you know, and it was kind of offensive, like, these folks are curating cupcakes? My God. I'm done with this. We're curating exhibits here. But curating truly, before I even knew what it was, but now that I do know what it is, we're all curators. You're all sitting down, you're all curating something. You're all curating something. You're all exhibiting something, whether it's yourself, you are exhibiting something. Your personalities, your character, who you are, whether that is popular or not. That is truly the foundation there for me, is how you tell the story, who's being impacted, and wanting to inspire people. And I think that's what drives me, because I want folks to be inspired. I want them to feel the excitement and the enthusiasm that I feel whenever I'm working on a project. It's not always easy when you're working with an artist or working on a subject matter. MBA was not easy to work on. You work with different artists and there are restrictions. And we all know there are always barriers. There are all these hurdles and things that you have to overcome. But in exhibiting, do it. I mean, to me, I'm just like, do it till you just can't stop. Not letting your passion being persuaded or compromised for being popular. I wanted to talk about preservation, because preservation is just truly a part of that exhibiting. It's critical, and preservation doesn't just happen in museums. It's happening every day. We have collections that we receive from people, whether they've been to the Agora or been to Beachland and want to contribute their collections or their badges or anything. But again, when you think about museums, I remember just growing up and feeling like, or even being in the box office at the GRAMMY Museum, like, damn, this place doesn't even feel tangible for me, for people who look like me. But this place is a representation of music, which is truly the fabric of who we all are, which is so crazy. Like, why don't I have access? Or why doesn't this kid know, like, shit, you can do education in a museum? Or I can be a curator, or I can do marketing, or I can be a publicist in a museum. I can do all these things and not see yourself. Preservation does not just belong to the upper class. Preservation is about all of us. That's the thing that inspires me. Preservation is not popular. Preservation is for the lowliest of man. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're the cleaning lady to the president of the goddamn rock hall. Preservation is for everybody. And it happens in our lives more than you even think. And that's one of the things where I really wanted to drive that point home. Whether it's jewelry or necklaces from your grandmother that you preserve that shit. If it's a cereal box that your mom may have collected or kept some toys, protect it. Protect it, preserve it. There's a story behind it. That's you curating your own life. And I think that's what I really love to show in our exhibits. Curate your own life. Be inspired by what you see here, but your story matters. You're not a mistake. You're exhibiting something every single day that matters to people who you encounter, to people who you might meet in the bathroom, on the subway, on the sidewalk, in the snow, whatever. Preserve it. Preserve it. There's a story there. Stay inspired. Stay inspired. Stay inspired. Be inspired. Stay passionate. And that's the things that drive me to create these exhibits, whether I know the subject matter or not. You don't have to be the authority in everything to create change. You don't. We're all excellent. We're all excellent in this room, and together we're stronger. So that's what the Rock Hall means to me when I'm exhibiting. It's our connectedness. It's not to create separations between genres. It's to show how we're all connected. So that's what I have to say about popularity, preservation, and exhibitions. Be your own curator.